morning, boss.
Yes, good
morning,
morning.
young bosses.
And welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Zaleha and Zamil. And our first topic for today is talking about young bosses.
Yeah, young bosses.
What does it mean?
Well, in this day and age when baby boomers delay retirement and they actually extend their working period, so they might have to end up working for a younger boss. And with so many opportunities nowadays, young people are actually taking up all the avenues that they have to be in business.
That's
and
right.
run corporations. So
And they
we
take
have
up
a
higher
lot
positions.
and a lot of young people are actually being in control nowadays. So a lot of people aren't. Well, some are okay with it. Well, some will have some find issues as to reporting for a younger person. This wouldn't actually be a new issue. So here in the studio we have Ms. Sharmini Hansen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Who is a life coach.
Life coach. So
yes, it's our pleasure.
yeah, well, tell us, what does a life coach
Entail.
Well, as a life coach, what I do is I work with individuals and I help them get clarity on what they want to achieve and actually awaken their resources and potential so that they actually achieve their goals.
So what's your take on young bosses?
Well, it's very interesting because I have got clients who are who started out being the older one and not promoted.
Right.
Okay, and her boss was a younger person, and she got really upset about it. And she says,
young upstart one.
yeah, and said, I deserve to be, leading and managing my team. And now she's in the other shoe where she has to deal with older people, and they kind of have a problem with her being young.
Right. So you deal with a lot of people from in the corporate world, right?
Yes, a lot. I have a lot of clients who are, middle management or in the management. So, and they want to know how to handle situations like this.
Right.
So, I think when it comes to young people being in leadership, because the young people now are so innovative and yes, and ready to get started. So they climb the ladder much faster than our parents did.
Yes.
Or people my age. There's two ways to look at it. I think one is you can either support them, like it's kind of the meaning. We're meaning-making machines, okay? Life happens to us, situations happen to us, and we make meaning out of it. Like you said, some people don't have a problem with it. They go like, it's cool. And some people do, because the meaning that they make is not a high-quality meaning, and it would mean like, they would probably have conversations like, I'm old, I'm obsolete, maybe I'm not respected, my efforts are not being respected. So I feel resentful that someone younger, I have to take orders and have somebody younger than me in authority. So that is not a very high quality meaning. Will upset you, would distress you. And the challenge is to always in life to make the highest and the best meaning for ourselves, when we look at things, how we interpret them. And the best meaning, I would say, if you were older and you were dealing with a younger person, would be go like, wow, young people are coming up now. Now it's their turn, and it's my turn to support them. And we need people who are very good at what they do. And some people who have been at their jobs for 20 years, 30 years, are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And they might have the passion or the desire to want to be a leader or a boss. They just want to, and that's why I call leaders with no title.
Right.
And that's okay. Be happy. However, when you're in a situation, when you get the feedback that someone younger who gets a promotion and you're not being promoted, and it might spark some discontent and all, which is good because that could fire you and fire your new dreams and say, hey, it's time I got my place. I got recognition. So it could work two ways for you when you're confronting this kind of young bosses.
So how did you deal with the client who was at first the older?
Yes, good question.
Yeah, older employee. Then in turn, after that, she became the younger one.
Yes. I told her, I said, you can't leave this job discontent. Okay, when you leave something discontented and unhappy and frustrated, you'll just go and end up finding another job that would just because you haven't changed your mindset.
Like a rebound.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So we worked on her changing her relationship with her boss. you know. So it was a whole transformation. And you know, by the end of it, she really, really had a good relationship with him, you know. And then things started happening and she got a promotion, you know, from senior manager, she got a promotion to be a VP.
Okay.
And then she moved on to her new job.
Right.
And now she has to learn how to confront older people, you know,
Yes.
people who are set in their ways.
Her subordinates.
Exactly,
Right.
you know, while she's trying to get people to rally and move quickly. So she has to manage that as well.
Yep, let's talk about the bosses, young bosses. You know, sometimes, you know, having lack of experience, and it doesn't help, you know, when the company belongs to your dad or to your mom, you know, people will all be speculating, oh, you know, she's up there or he's up there because he's the boss's son or daughter.
Or nephew or niece.
Or nephew or niece and,
Yeah.
you know, distant relatives. So young bosses tend to follow the book sometimes, and that tends to be perceived as being not being flexible. So what are the challenges faced by the young bosses, you know?
I think first you gotta understand, you gotta put yourself in their shoes, and they are also facing challenge. They also know that they're being looked upon with disdain and not really, and not everyone's very pleased, you know. Whenever I work as a coach, I'll work with the individual that has the challenge or has that problem or has the issue, you know, and the issue might be someone else triggering it. And I go, you can't change him. Honey, you can't.
Honey, you can't.
Really, you can't change him and you can't change anyone.
Yeah.
You know, but the only way, what you can do is that you can change yourself
Okay.
and how you respond to it. So what is it that you need to change in your belief system? What resources do you need to put in place so that you can deal with this in a healthy, respectful way and come out dignified, you know? So it's always working with who has that issue, you know, versus who's causing the issue.
Right. So usually in your line, you know, from your experience, who has the issues? Is it the younger bosses or the older employees?
I have both.
Right.
I have both. I have situations with both. And
Who is more difficult to deal with? Or who
Actually,
would be in their
I'm so
position to
sorry,
actually
but-
deal,
but
difficult
the
to deal
older
with this?
generation
Yeah.
is a bit more challenging
Right.
to work with.
Because they have to report to a younger
Yeah.
person.
Because we are so set in our ways.
Mm.
And the way we grew up and the way we climbed the corporate ladder was very different. Now young people with a master's, immediately you get into position
Yeah.
without any experience. So, you know, you go like, hi, that's not fair, but that's life.
Yeah.
You know, they have more knowledge, and right now for improvement or change in the company, knowledge is power. You know, you need that knowledge and you need to be innovative. So I think we just have to, I think as we get older, we have to let go of how we think things should be and be a bit more flexible. You know, have a little bit more flexibility and be easy on ourselves, really. You know?
And think that not everything is a given, right?
No, not everything is a given, you know, but sometimes it comes easy. You know, if it comes easy, I always enjoy people when things come easy to them because I know their mind is at work rather than just the body. You know, we are physical workers. And really, when you start to use your mind and your visualization, imagination, and creativity, you tend to achieve things much faster.
Right.
What will you say to the older subordinates who are really, really comfortable in their zone, in their bubble, and you know they still have issues with younger people stepping up and you know taking the reign, updating their skills is you know very, very vital. But you know how do you strike out a balance between three?
Yeah.
I think first you got to see where you are, and you got to be honest with yourself. If you're just going to be till retirement, you know, you've got retirement 3-4 years down the road, and you really you're quite happy where you are, then be happy with what you have, you know, and stop looking at the younger ones who are hungry, who are passionate, you know, and be resentful of them.
That's
Yeah.
right.
There's no point in that.
No point finding fault.
Exactly, and the more you complain, the more you have to complain about.
Yeah.
You know, and life becomes miserable, and you become a miserable person to work with.
Yeah. Unhappy and unproductive.
Yes, you know. And then versus, like I said, you could use that, you know, that feedback that you've got. You go like, okay, you could see the comparison, and you could tell yourself, maybe you know what? Maybe I should start thinking about what I can do more. Yeah, I have 4 more years or, you know, 6 more years to retirement. Maybe there's more I can do. There's more I can contribute. Let me think how I can do that
Right.
and challenge yourself. Because when you get comfortable, you're dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an analogy. I love this analogy of a tree. A tree is always growing.
Yes.
You know, if it stops growing, it's dead.
It's dead.
True.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, and human beings are the same. If we get comfortable, we just slowly wither, and we no longer, people don't experience us, we no longer exist.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
so you constantly have to get uncomfortable. When I heard it, I go like, oh man.
I know. But that's the sad fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So would the older subordinates, if they really cannot accept the fact, or they're really unhappy with the
Yes.
fact that they have to report to a younger boss, or they're not happy with the working environment, would their last resort be to go out of that organization and be their own boss, perhaps?
You could. You know,
Why not?
life is like presents you challenges. You either accept it or reject it. Anything in between is ridiculous. Okay.
Well
I
said.
like that.
Yeah, accept it or reject it.
Yeah.
Okay, you accept it with grace, dignity. You can say, I'm in transition, I want to improve.
Yeah.
Or I'm just a player, I'm a follower,
Yeah.
and I'm very happy doing that. Okay, but if you reject it, leave things better off.
Yeah.
Don't live in a huff and a puff.
I can so imagine her saying to the client, like, honey,
Yes,
either
I
you
do.
stay or you move on.
Oh my God, we're so glad to have you here in the studio on a Monday morning today. Your last message to all our viewers this morning.
I think,
Yeah.
you know, life gives us a lot of situations, and we need to make the best meaning for ourselves, you know, and so that because then our spirits are high,
Yep.
we have high energy and more positivity, and when we are good energy and positive, more good things happen to us.
Yeah, it's like a vibe thing.
Exactly, you start attracting.
Thank you so much, Sharmini. You know,
Thank
we
you.
hope that
for
will
shedding some
kickstart your
light.
Monday, kickstart your week.
Yeah.
You know, accept it, reject it. Anything in between is just ridiculous. Well, that gets me up big time.
It's gonna be like, honey, stay or move on.
Yeah, man. All right, we're going to be talking about the charity bazaar organized by the Lung Foundation. So
Yep.
stay with us on Hello On 2.
Don't go away.